Hi, I'm Dorothy Guerra, and we're here with 365 TV Network. Let's Get Loud Now. And I'm super excited to bring you the show on startup business in the world of fashion. For those of you familiar with my loud strategy, there are 4 principles that you need to succeed. One is the loyalty of your business. One is recognizing the opportunity, recognizing who the people are that you need to utilize in your opportunities, and then delivering the best product or service. I'm super excited to have a conversation today with Brenda Konwisarz from Naked Bodyz Fashion, who left her 30-year position with Canada Post in order to start her own fashion mogul company. And we're going to talk about what you need to do in order to be courageous, a risk taker, and stick to it in order to be a success. Today's going to be a super show, and let's bring Brenda on. And we are with Brenda Konwisarz from Naked Bodyz Fashion, and we're here to talk about startup. Now, if we look at the business of startup into my loud model, as I mentioned, there are 4 things that you really need to succeed in business. You need to have your business plan, which you're loyal to. So what is it that you foresee yourself doing, and how are you going to commit to doing that? Who are the people that you're going to have opportunities with? Where do you need to be? Where do you need to go to create those opportunities? Once you know who your opportunities are, how are you going to utilize those opportunities to serve you best? And again, going over the ultimate part of business, and that's the product and the service that you deliver. I'm super excited to sit with Brenda because we're going from somebody from a full-time career with Canada Post to a startup business in the fashion industry. And like I said before, the fashion industry is a dog-eat-dog world. Let's go behind Brenda's personal why as to the reason Naked Bodyz came to be and what her plans are, what her struggles are, what her goals are, and what she plans to do in order to make her startup succeed. So welcome to my show, Brenda. I'm super excited to have you today.
Thank you, and I'm excited to be here.
You know, there's a lot of people out in the world that sit in their mundane jobs, 9 to 5, day to day, and they have hopes and they have dreams, and they just don't know how to put their foot out of the box in order to make those dreams succeed. And I'm really hoping that out of today's show, we get an opportunity to see what risks you took and to look at some of your struggles, but ultimately what your personal why is in order to make this a success.
Yes, exactly why I didn't want to stay at the post office. It is a job that acquires Monday to Friday, which is a good thing, but it's repetitive, and I like every day to be a different thing to do. And definitely, this is very different than the post office. What my struggles were at the beginning was leaving a really good job with a lot of money and coming to making ends meet. The good thing is I have a husband that fully supports me, pushes me, is my go-to person, and I believe in him. And he's always been by my side, which is a big thing.
And I think when it comes down to when we look at the loud business model and you look at the aspect of building loyalty in your business, I think you need to have a partner that's behind you that's equally loyal to your business in order to succeed. Because once you hit a wall financially from a marketing perspective or a branding perspective, all of a sudden you can go into panic mode, and literally in a day or two, it could shut your entire business down when you make a couple of big mistakes. And I'm sure you've probably made a couple of these big mistakes along the road in the short time that you've been open. So why don't we look at how long has your store been open?
We've actually took over April, but we didn't open till after Mother's Day of May.
And was it scary and nerve-wracking?
Oh, yes. I don't sleep at night sometimes thinking about what tomorrow brings, and the sales, and just new things that I have to come up with to make the sales better.
Right. And so let's take a look at you delivering mail. So you're delivering mail. At what point in your career were you then thinking, you know what, I want to open up a fashion store?
Well, I've always wanted to open up a fashion store because as I was walking down the streets delivering mail, I was supposed to wear my uniform, and I never really did. So my friend or people that I would deliver to would say, "Wow, you're a letter carrier?" I say, "Yes, I am, but, you know, I love my job. Of course, it is a great job. But it's not really what I want to do. It's just I love clothes, I love fashion, and you know, they always say you go for what you want to do, so that's what I did.
Okay, so now you're deciding to open up a store. Take me to the day where you say to your husband, you know what, I'm done. We're going to do this.
Huh. Well, it was Christmas of last year. Do you remember the snowstorm?
Well, probably
Well,
a few of them.
yeah. Well, we had a lot of snow, and I was like, Mike, the people at my work were going, so when are you going to retire? I go, I'm counting down the days too. And I said, I'm just waiting for that opportunity. So we were looking for stores, and we had to do a portfolio on how to present it to the person to let us rent for them, because apparently you can't just get a place by renting. You have to show them what you've done, what your opportunities can be, and what you have to offer. It was a big step. So you get shut down by a few and you pick up by others. And then finally we got this place that hasn't been around in 2 years. 2 years this place was closed down. And they really liked what we had to offer. And then we began. And I
So
was on a trip.
when you're looking at starting startup, obviously location is everything. And location, I would say, is a little bit that would have to do with your opportunity. And if you open up in the wrong spot, then you're going to put yourself up into a roadblock. And
Yes.
like they say, build and they will come. And that's not necessarily true. It could be a myth because you have to build in the space where you know that they're going to come to. How did you know that Queen Street West was the place that you needed to put your store?
Well, it's supposed to be the new fashion area, which we've done our research. And that's like we do our homework before we get our things. So we've been doing that for about 8 months prior. So we knew that this was the location. We tried Yorkville. Yorkville was overpriced. We knew that a lot of them were closing down. As a matter of fact, one of my really good friends that has Rock and Karma had left Yorkville because of the prices and is now down the street from me.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes, Naomi.
Now, how are you dealing with the competition that's around you? Do you think that the competition of the stores, without mentioning any names, because we're
Yes.
not obviously not going to give any free promo here on Queen Street West, other than Naked Bodyz Fashion, but how do you find you get that storefront traffic from people walking into your store as opposed to the other stores?
Well, I did go to other stores and see what they carry, and I didn't want to carry the same product. So I did my research on that, and I want it to be different, and you just have to do that, because if you get the same thing, then they're obviously going to compare prices, and they're not going to want your store. They're always going to go to the store they already know.
So, did you come into this business already knowing what kind of lines you were looking at
Oh,
carrying?
definitely, yes.
Okay, so how did you place those different, how did you decide those different lines that you're going to carry to what the other stores were carrying? And how do you know that you're unique and what you have is what's going to sell?
Because when I go out, even on weekends with my husband, I dress, and there's always a person that says, oh, I love what you're wearing. Where did you get it? So I kind of base it on the way I dress.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the I can tell you that some of the styles here in the store are truly unique and truly amazing. And Brenda's been kind enough to offer me a lot of my clothing while I've been taping my shows. So kudos to you on the choices that you've made.
Thank you.
But I want to take that a little step further, because you can go from having a store where you're carrying brand names and promoting brand names, and obviously you're looking at the costs of the markup from your cost to marking up. And then ultimately, as you climb up the success ladder and you do better and better, it also means that the people that you're buying from get better and better.
Yes, and also with the US dollar, it's really hard too, and the customs.
Exactly. So I know that you've got some aspirations to design your own clothing
Yes,
line.
that'll come in 2017.
But the I know that the skirt
The
that you're
skirt I
wearing
made
today,
is my own.
and so she does have a vision of designing her own clothes. So why don't you talk a little bit about where that passion came from to design?
Well, when I was a little girl, my grandmother would sew me a lot of clothes. As a matter of fact, all of them. And I always seen them by the sewing machine, and whatever I would want, she would make it for me. Uh, the fashion was a little different. I was very little girly, the Austrian background, Slovenian background. So I would dress with it's called a dindle, which is the apron and the dress and the blouse. And then I would spark it up with making socks with little cherries on it.
Oh, you're
And
kidding.
oh yeah, I'd get teased, but in the end, I was always different, and everyone loved it. So, and then as the years went by, I always thought, you know what, I'm gonna try something. I love to amuse people, and say, oh my God, where'd you get that? So
And you do have an out of the box fashion, that's
yeah,
for sure. Which is, I think that in a way is your personal branding that will carry Naked Bodyz for sure.
yes, and I love the name.
So if we looked at you having this passion for fashion as a little girl, why the full-time job with Canada Post?
Well, I had my kids at a young age, and well, you have to make money fast. So I got this opportunity from my mom, got into the post office. She says, oh, you need to get this job. So once you're in there, the money's good. And, you have to make the best of what you have. And I just started making the money. Everyone goes, oh, it's a government job, keep it. And it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So.
Right. And now going forward, when you're starting to look at Naked Bodyz, if we look at all the opportunities that you've created, the location, which names that you're going to pick, where you're going to go and brand yourself, and the things that you need to do. Now, if we look at utilizing where you're at now, where do you think you're going to be in the next year? What are some of your goals and the vision that you're carrying?
Well, I'd like to open up a store in Oakville, which is a really nice place. The fashion there seems to be for the people that I would cater to. And my goal is to open up 5 stores in the next 5 years.
Okay, so do you think that those stores will carry the retail lines or?
No, it'll carry a bit of both. I'll make my own, uh, probably half the store, and then the other half I'll still carry the designs that I really like to.
Right. And now, what about as far as going forward? What are some of your fears?
Not making ends meet. People saying, "Oh, you failed," or saying, "Oh, what are you doing back at the post office?" But if that wouldn't be the case, I don't know. It's just as much as they're my fears, it's also a way to go forward, because sometimes your fears make you stronger.
That's right. Now, in the process of leaving your full-time job and taking a big risk in opening up a retail store, which is so cyclical and people buy December, January, there's a
Yeah.
lull midwinter, and then you got to make sure that you've got the finances to make all those ends meet. What was your biggest fear in opening up this store? And what was the biggest conquer that you had that overrode that fear to make you say, okay, you know what, I had that fear, this is what I did to succeed or surpass that fear?
Uh, Everything thrown at me at once. The POS system, putting in my clothing into the line. Thank God for my son Austin. He had taken care of that. Then you have to learn it, because when he's not there, I had to put it in. Hiring the right people, and just I don't know. It was just everything was fear, because well, now I'm done. There's an edit.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. Just with putting that in the system and learning the actual system, when people came in, I had to put in the price, and I didn't know, does the taxes go in automatically, and knowing that all happened. I had a 2-day course which I had to go to, and they had to train me. But see, I'm not a person that is good at training by watching them. I have to actually do it. I'm a hands-on person.
Right. And then you're going from a world where you're a letter carrier to technology, right?
Yeah.
You've got to learn the website business. You got to learn the social media
yes.
side of the business, right?
Totally different.
Right? It's not just come in and open up your store and hope that people walk in. There's so much behind the scenes that you had to learn.
Yeah.
Right? So at what point, was there ever a point in time where, you're sitting in the store and you're going, and the only reason I'm asking you this is because in human nature, when we take a risk, the minute we hit a wall, our first inclination is to say, oh my God, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
How many times do you come into this store and say, this is it, I'm not going to do this? And then what changes your mind to come back the next day?
Definitely, that's what happens quite a bit. I'll get all panicked where you get an email and they're looking for this, they're looking for the money, and then UPS, and then it goes through customs and all that. And then I call my husband. I go, oh my God, I quit. And he goes, no, no, no. And then, we'll resolve the problem. And it takes about a couple of minutes. And then I get online. I just take a deep breath and then I do it. And then I text him back and say, you know what? Thank you. It's like I think he lets me do it on my own, and he wants to see me kind of like have that fear in me to see that I can do it. And then when I do it, it feels great.
Right. And you feel like you've overrid that fear,
Yeah.
right? When you
Oh, yeah.
you take that next step that just makes you feel like I did this.
Yes.
Right? And it empowers you to keep going, right?
It
Because
does.
the more fears that you conquer, the stronger that you end up getting, that you can say, you know what? As long as you recognize the fears that were stopping you before, then and you recognize that you've stepped out of that fear zone and successfully surpassed yourself, then the next fear becomes less and less and less of a fear. Right?
Definitely.
So now if we look into the delivery from the loud method, how you're putting your products and your ultimately your customer service out there as well, building your name. It's not just building Naked Bodyz. When you walk out into public, people got to know Brenda owns Naked Bodyz, right? So you're tackling two ends of the marketing stream. So when we start looking at what your goals are in your mission statement for Brenda at Naked Bodyz, what do you think some of the challenges are going to be for you for 2017, or the goals that you're going to set for yourself for 2017?
Well, I know the fact that you have to put your face out there as a star, in other words, right?
Absolutely.
And I I pretty well think I have that. Not as far as I'd like to go. I think I can go further. It's about pushing and believing in yourself, definitely, and going to the right places as we did yesterday, which was amazing, and meeting the right people, and that connection is the best. When you have the proper connection and you're able to meet them and they're willing to listen to you, that makes all the difference.
Exactly. And that's one of the things about the loud model that I really push is that, you can get caught up into pushing your store or pushing your services, and it becomes about what you're selling. But ultimately you need to step back from that, and you need to recognize that you are the seller, and you need to put yourself before the product or service. And that really is how I do business. Your personal why should make you fly. Your personal why should be the reason that people buy. People shouldn't have to see Naked Bodyz on Yelp or on Google in order to say, oh, I should go into that store. Ideally, people should say, hey, I've met Brenda at an event and I want to go into Brenda's store.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why don't you tell me about your personal why this is important to you? Why is this your legacy?
I just believe that I can design the clothes that people would like to see out there more. And I just want to get it out there as much as I can because I've always been into fashion. And I think I have a different type of perspective in clothing than not all people, but a lot of people, because I've listened to a few people that are in their what they do for fashion. They want that motherly look, or they want the whatever their interests are. As much as I want to be classy but sexy.
Yeah, and you definitely have that look going on all the time.
And anyone can do it.
You're a showstopper when you walk into a room, that's for sure. And that's what I love about you is you're not afraid to take personal risk in the way that you dress.
You can't.
Right? So, and you don't hide behind a tree. Like when Brenda walks in a room, Brenda walks in a room, which is amazing. And I would love to see for 2017 more of your designs. And I can't wait to sit here in the store and watch Brenda sit behind a sewing machine and start putting her own styles together. Because based on what I see, what she's wearing today, she is going to come out in a big powwow next year. And Naked Bodyz, I think, is going to take on a whole new level of meaning and a whole new level of design. And I am really looking forward to being a part of that.
Thank you, Dorothy.
You're very welcome. So why don't you let the audience know on how to contact you, your Facebook, where to find you, your website. I also know that you're on Shoptique, so if you cannot get into the store, you are only a click away from buying her outfits. So go for it.
It's 606 Queen Street West, Toronto. And my website is nakedbodyz.com. And I'm on Instagram as Naked Bodyz BODYZ Fashion. And I'm also on Pinterest. I'm on
Facebook.
Facebook and the other one, Twitter. Yes.
So she's Naked Bodyz, and that's Bodyz, BODYZ. So make sure that you go onto your computers or your smartphones and add her on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course log into Shoptique. How can they find you on Shoptique?
It's you just go shoptique.com and it will take you. How Shoptique works is if you're looking for a specific item, it will direct you to that. It doesn't really direct you to my store. Is that right? Yeah. So it's not based on me. It's all over the world. So if you're
Okay.
looking for that specific outfit, that's how you get that.
And not only that, but if you can't get down here and purchase something, you can always give Brenda a call. She's always posting on her Facebook and her Instagram. So if you see something you like, give her a call, pick up the phone, and she can make sure that it gets out to you, no problem.
And it's 15% off right now till Christmas.
There you go. You can't go wrong with 15% off. Brenda, I am so honored to be your friend. I am so honored to have gotten to know you, but I'm heartfelt to be a part of watching you grow and seeing how far you're going to soar, because you're a good-hearted person and you got vision. And I know without doubt that 2017 is going to be your year. It's going to be the start of where you're going. And I'm forever grateful to know you, and I wish you all the best and success.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. And I mean that.
Thank you for joining us here today on Let's Get Loud Now. I know some of you are out there thinking about 2017 and how much you may hate your job or how much you have a vision of something that you want to do. Fear is always going to be there. Doubt is always going to be there. And sometimes it's a hell of a lot easier to just say no than it is to say yes. But you've only got one life to live. And I would really suggest that you take an opportunity to say yes to that life, and everything else will work out the way it's supposed to when you take that risk and that courage to be exactly who you want to be and need to be in your life. So I look forward to having you join us next time here on Let's Get Loud Now, 365tvnetwork.com.